After having claimed the lives of at least 25 people, Typhoon Mangkhut is now barreling towards the densely populated coast of Hong Kong. Hong Kong's storm alert was lifted to its highest level as Typhoon Mangkhut swirled off the coast, packing wind speeds of up to 110 miles per hour. Strong winds and heavy rain have been lashing the coast of Hong Kong City. Authorities have warned that water levels in the famous Victoria Harbour and fishing villages could surge by up to 4 meters. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated to storm shelters as the observatory forecast severe flooding for low-lying areas. Disaster management authorities have warned residents to stay off the streets, and almost all flights in and out of Hong Kong have been cancelled. Preparations were in high gear on China's southern coast, including in Yangshan, which is not often hit by major typhoons, and where the city's 2.4 million people were bracing for a direct hit. And to bring us more details on this news story, I'm now joined in by our correspondent Patrick Falk, who joins us live from Hong Kong. Let's quickly go across to Patrick. Patrick, a very warm welcome. Please tell us about the current scenario in Hong Kong. The alert has now finally been signaled. What is the situation over there? All right, we do sense some technical difficulty to get through with Patrick at the moment. But for now, this is the big story. That is that Mangkhut is all geared up for Hong Kong and China. And Hong Kong's storm alert has been lifted to its highest level as Typhoon Mangkhut swirled off the coast, packing wind speeds of up to 110 miles per hour. Strong winds and heavy rain have been lashing the coast of Hong Kong City, as you can see in these visuals. Authorities have also warned that water levels in the famous Victoria Harbour and fishing villages could surge by up to 4 meters. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated to storm shelters as the observatory forecast severe flooding for low-lying areas, and this is the alert that has been sounded for Hong Kong. As we know that Mangkhut has already claimed the lives of at least 25 people back in the Philippines and is now barreling towards the densely populated coast of Hong Kong. The disaster management authorities have warned residents to stay off the streets, and almost all flights in and out of Hong Kong have been cancelled. And preparations have been in high gear on China's southern coast also, including in Yangshan, which is not often hit by major typhoons. And the city's 2.4 million people have been bracing for a direct hit. While that is the Typhoon Mangkhut, tropical storm Florence has entered inland on Saturday in the United States, flooding rivers and towns, toppling trees and cutting power to nearly 1 million homes and businesses. The storm has dumped huge amounts of rain on North and South Carolina, causing 8 deaths so far, including a baby.
All the way up here? Yeah, up there somewhere.
These visuals, as you can see, are of a flooded area in Jacksonville in North Carolina. The storm's center is crawling over South Carolina, but many of its main rain bands still are over. Already, saturated North Carolina setting up what may be days of flooding for some communities. Florence diminished from hurricane strength as it came ashore on Friday, but the large storm's slow progress across the two states could leave much of the region underwater in the coming days. Along coastal communities, people trapped in homes by relentless floodwaters awaited rescue, and tens of thousands stayed in shelters after fleeing their homes as the storm approached. In Wilmington, a city of about 120,000 people on North Carolina's Atlantic coastline, streets are strewn with downed tree and other debris. So these are the two big disastrous hurricanes that have hit Hong Kong and are all set to hit Hong Kong, while Philippines is already reeling. And we just read you news coming in from Florence. As far as the latest from Hong Kong is concerned, as we all know that Mangkhut is now barreling towards the densely populated coast of Hong Kong. Hong Kong's storm alert has been lifted to its highest level as Typhoon Mangkhut swirled off the coast, packing wind speeds of up to 110 miles per hour. And to bring us more details on this news story, I am joined in by Patrick Falk, our correspondent, who joins us live from Hong Kong. Let's quickly go across to Patrick. Patrick, bring us the latest details as we know that the alert has finally been signalled in Hong Kong. What are the ground zero reports?
So we do seem to be having a little bit of connectivity trouble. That could be because of the storm, but I don't know if you can hear on your side, but these windows behind me are rattling really quite seriously, and outside we are seeing debris strewn about all over the place, and there's considerable damage already to some of the less well secure structures. We knew this one was going to be different. The Chinese media are calling this the king of typhoons, and there has been ample warning throughout the week about the scale of Mangkhut. We have also had some good news from the observatory. It says that Mangkhut is actually veering to the south of Hong Kong and is going to pass by on the west, and the eye of the storm isn't going to pass over the city directly. The storm has also been downgraded in the past few hours from a super typhoon to a severe typhoon, but the conditions outside are still very bad indeed. Public transport has been suspended, all public transport, that is, with the exception of underground rail, and hundreds of flights have been cancelled as well. And also the Hong Kong Jockey Club, for the first time ever, has had to cancel its race day. Of course, that is a very popular pastime here, and it's expected that it will lose as much as $100 million in revenue as a result of that.
Right. Patrick, also we believe that the Hong Kong Observatory has raised the alert to storm signal number 10. Could you explain to us what that means?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you terribly well, but I am going to tell you about the two power plants that are in the path of Mangkhut. They are headed towards that direction. There are two nuclear power plants within about 230 kilometers distance from Hong Kong. The operators say that they are on the highest level of alert and that they are in combat ready to mode. They've had people around this week to advise them on how to secure the sites. Of course, there's a lot of concern about what sort of damage a storm like this could do to a nuclear power plant, particularly after the 2011 Fukushima disaster in Japan. They say that they are prepared, and importantly, emergency response teams are on standby in case anything does happen.
Right. Patrick, also, you know, Mangkhut is already the most powerful storm of 2018. It has already ploughed into Philippines, now headed towards South China and Hong Kong. Have the evacuations taken place? What are the measures that the administration is taking to ensure safety for the people in Hong Kong?
Again, I'm struggling to hear exactly what you're saying, but I think that you're asking about what security measures have been taken.
Right.
And actually, villages in low-lying areas in Hong Kong have been evacuated. They are under severe risk in these kinds of conditions. But really, you know, it's just a matter of hunkering down at this time. There's not much you can do. There's nobody out in the streets whatsoever, and the government has advised all citizens to make sure that they're in a safe place. There's no public transport running with the exception of the underground for the time being, and you would certainly be advised against going outside at all.
Right. Last but not the least, Patrick, there are concerns about potential damage to two nuclear power plants in Guangdong. Tell us more about that if you're aware. These two nuclear power plants might receive damage in Guangdong. If you can hear me, tell us more about that.
Well, I think I just mentioned about the nuclear power plants. It's the Yangjiang and Taishan power plants. They're both within 230 kilometers of Hong Kong. There is a big concern about the potential damage that a storm like this could bring, particularly following the 2011 Fukushima disaster in Japan. But they have taken all the preventative measures they can. They've had specialists come in during the week to advise what they can do to protect both those sites, and emergency response teams are on hand, and they are ready in case any sort of damage does take place in those two places.
Right, Patrick, thank you so much for bringing us all those details under these crisis situations. Stay safe, stay secure, and thank you so much for bringing us the latest.